everyone, this is Diva Dane of Craft Divas. Today I'm going to go over the 3D mask. As you can see, this is a very nice mask. It stands out on your face. It's very good coverage. So let's begin. For the supplies, you're going to need cardstock paper or any heavy like construction paper. You're going to need a ruler. You're going to need any lightweight cotton fabric, Quilters cotton or any cotton fabric for your face. You're also going to need elastic and or knit fabric if you want to have straps to go over the back of your head on each side, so at the top and at the bottom, your preference. You will need your sewing machine and pins. So first off, you would take your construction paper or your cardstock paper and you're going to cut out a 7.5 by 10.5 inch rectangle. Once you have that cut out, then you're going to take and mark 2 inches in on each corner on all 4 sides. Once you have those markings, then you're going to draw a straight line. When you have that straight line, you're going to cut along that edge, which you are cutting out a 2-inch triangle on each side. And then you have your template. Then what you do is you take your template and lay it down on your fabric, your backing fabric and your main front fabric. Once you have that completed, you will have your 2 pieces. You will have your front fabric and your backing fabric. So let's begin the process. So when sewing this, everything is a 1/4 inch unless we're doing the outer sewing, the top stitch. All top stitching is 1/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is take my pieces right side together. And I'm just going to pin my pieces in place so that it doesn't shift as I'm sewing. Once again, this is a 1/4 inch stitch. Once you have all your pieces pinned together, you're also going to leave a 3-inch opening. That is so that we can flip the mask right sides out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this corner. Remember to always back stitch and sew around all the way to this corner and back stitch. So let's do that. Okay, now that that is complete, you just cut off your excess thread on each of the corners. And now you have your 2 pieces sewn together. So what I do is I take it, flip it right sides out. Just make sure everything is out. You want to make sure that everything is smooth, that your corners are especially smooth. So I have a tool called a stiletto. And what I do is I just take it, put it inside of the fabric, and just punch out each corner. But you don't want to do it too rough because you do not want to punch through your fabric. So just make sure all the corners are nice. And what you're going to do is we're going to top stitch 1/8 inch around the whole mask. but you want to fold in that corner that we did the flip of the mask through. So you're just going to flip it and give it a good press, okay? So now as you can see, everything is nice and flat. So what I'm going to do is take it to the sewing machine, stitch an eighth of an inch around the whole mask. Always make sure to backstitch. Just cut off your excess thread again. And now the hard part's out the way. You have the mask complete, the base of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold in 2 inches from the top and 2 inches from the bottom. You want to fold in towards your backing. So what I do is I just take my ruler and make sure that I measure 2 inches across to make sure it is level. I don't have to move up a certain side. That looks good. So I'm going to pin that in place. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. But you do not have to worry about you catching the other side's fabric because it's not going to be even to catch the other piece of fabric that we folded up. Okay, so now it's going to look like this. So now that you have this, you're going to take and sew 1/8 of an inch at the top and 1/8 of an inch at the bottom. And you do not have to worry about back stitching on this because we're going to fold the end down and do another stitch over it to secure it. Do the same thing on the other side. Cut off all your excess thread. Okay, now for this part, we're going to take each corner and you're going to fold your triangle. What you want to do is, the fabric may bunch up, but that's perfectly fine because you're creating the mask together. So you want to fold your straight edge down so that it is a even triangle or like a 90-degree triangle. You want to do that on all 4 sides. Just fold your fabric so that each point is straight down. And what's going to happen is you will see that each point will line up. So here, my lines line up perfectly. So what you're going to do is take from the top here, straight down. You're going to sew on that stitch line that you sewed in the prior step. Sew it straight down on the stitch line already there. Remember to backstitch. Do the same thing on the other side. What you're trying to do is make sure that you catch each corner and that it's sewed down in place. So once again, you're just stitching a straight line down, making sure that you're catching the corners. Now, as you can see, the mask is complete. So now we need to put on your straps. So as I said, there are two different ways of doing this. You can either use elastic or you can use knit fabric. So if you want to use knit fabric, what I do is I cut out an inch strip and then I take it and I fold it in half. So here's the long piece. What I do is I fold it in half and then I create two smaller pieces. What you want to do is you want to stretch it so that it kind of gathers together. So if you want to do this method, what you're going to do is essentially we're going to fold in the tab on each side. So if you want to use the knit fabric for this, you will put one piece of the fabric in at the top. You would fold it over, pin it in place. Then you would take your other piece, put it at the bottom of that tab, fold it over, pin it in place. So what you would do is you would stitch across the top, stitch down, and stitch across the bottom to secure that these straps are in place. And you would do the same thing on this side. If you want to use elastic, what I do is I cut either 10 to 12 inch strip of elastic, and then I make my knot. Make sure that it's secure. Do the same thing for the second strip. Make your knot. Secure it. Okay? So now what you do is you're going to take one of those elastic ovals or circles. You're going to put it inside that tab that you created. You're going to pin it down in place. Make sure to tuck in the elastic so you don't sew over it, just in case you may need to replace the elastic. And you're going to fold it in. What we're going to do is take it to the sewing machine and stitch straight down on the line that is already sewn there. Secure the top and secure the bottom. Flip it over. Do the same thing on the other side. Pin it in place. Make sure you do not catch it. and you have that side secure. So now what I'm going to do is take it to the sewing machine, stitch down on both sides. Flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. Once that's done, your mask is complete. This is a very easy, fast sew. And you can always play around with your measurements if you want the mask to be smaller or if you want your mask to be bigger. It's up to you. Just play with your cardstock or your construction paper. Make your templates, cut out the fabric, and then go from there. So once again, the mask is complete. And as you see, it covers the face nicely. Please continue to watch us on YouTube and all of our other social media sites. We'll have how-to videos, tutorials, and other things going on in our crafting life. Until then, keep crafting. Bye.